What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition here of Market Update. We're specifically going to see here if the market is due for a bounce, right? So right in front of us, we do have the SPY. We managed to breach below this horizontal line here on, I think that was on Friday. So we got a little bit of a bounce here on Monday, and the RSI ticked up a little bit right at this oversold level. So the question is, are we going to see a reflexive rally fairly soon? You know, all you have to do here is take a look at some of the indicators here. Specifically, three ones here are the intraday charts. And so we're severely oversold here, and we're nearing some MACD buy signals here on the 4-hour chart specifically. But even the daily chart it looks as if we are due for a bounce here. But I am at the same time a little bit cautious. Now, the bullish case is we do have this Bollinger Bands here. Okay, so we can see here we are severely stretched below that 2 standard deviation, below that 20 MA. So we can see here previously, every time we hit that blue line here, we bounce right back up. And, you know, we do have some history here to show the same thing happen over and over again. And one could make the case that we're now above that former highs here back in August, what was it, August 16th of 2022. So is the market going to bounce here? Or are we potentially looking at this 150-day moving average? All right, so this 150-day moving average is the second line of support just above that 200-day moving average, which is the area I believe we will eventually find buyers somewhere between the first week of October or the second week of October. That's when the market will most likely resume its uptrend. But we're looking for a bounce here just to work off some of these oversold conditions and take a look at this thing on a 4-hour chart. One could make the case that, let me just open this one up here so we can start off some drawing. So one could make the case this is a 1, 2, and then we need to finish up 4 and then make another down here, you know, to wave 5. All right. So maybe we're getting a little bounce here on, you know, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and then sell off again, hit that 150-day moving average right here, and that's when the real reflexive bounce is coming. Potentially, you know, closing this open gap here at 4,400 before resuming lower. All right. So we could also take a look at the NDX here, and the NDX is showcasing similar, you know, price action here with the S&P. You know, this 100-day moving average, we breached below it. There's nothing really defending this thing. And on Monday, we found resistance here at the 100-day as well. So I'm still gazing at this 150-day because that could potentially be the ultimate reflexive rally to start off from. So, but be cautious. I mean, it could much likely start here as well. So I'm just saying that, you know, either it's going to be here or most likely at the 150-day moving average. And we could also apply the Bollinger Bands here. We can see here that, you know, this one is speaking for itself, that we could start seeing a reflexive bounce here. The same thing, you know, right here, we do have an open gap, and I think this open gap could be closed here and it bounce here towards the upside. So, you know, what's interesting now is that we could take a look at the US dollar. It's up 11 weeks in a row now, and the dollar is getting a lot of attention. And so because of that, I'm starting to become a little bit bearish here on the dollar. And you know, here, I'm recording this on the 26th September, so this is Tuesday, just before the market opens. So we can see here, we just found resistance right at that high trend line here. All right, so this looks to me to be a rising wedge here before seeing a correction here towards the downside. And it looks as if the session here is selling off currently right at this level. So we obviously want to see the dollar coming down, giving us some more, you know, probabilities that we're going to see a reflexive bounce here towards the upside here for the major indices. And I can see here that the 10-year is starting to roll over as well. You see here, we pretty much like the US dollar, the DXY. You know, we see that this high trend line here could act as, you know, the final leg towards the upside. And I mean, geez, look how overbought this thing is. I mean, the weekly, I mean, this thing is cooking towards the upside. Even on the daily, I mean, this thing is screaming overbought. So that is why I think we're almost due here for a bounce. You know, one could have a look at stocks like Amazon. The interesting thing about Amazon here, we found support right at the 100-day moving average. And that was actually on Friday, and it bounced on Monday right at that level. So at that 100-day moving average, and then, you know, 2 standard deviation below that 20 MA, you know, we're looking for a bounce here as well. Even stocks like Netflix, we're looking at this previous high here, and that's where buyers showed up here on Tuesday. Now I'm looking at the futures markets. Everything's pointing to red, severely red here. The S&P is down 0.5% here on the futures market. You know, things could turn around pretty quickly in the you know, intraday session. So that is why I'm looking for a potential bounce. Obviously, these RSI levels here, they can remain oversold for a long period of time. So just because things are oversold doesn't mean, you know, you have to necessarily bounce out of these levels. But again, the dollar, we looked at the dollar, we looked at the 10-year. So these two looks to be rolling over based on the technicals alone. So I think that, you know, the markets could follow up towards the upside because of that. So that was just a quick update here for the major indices and the dollar. I think the markets could soon find potential buyers here. If not, watch that 150-day moving average here on the S&P or the SPY, which is this this line here that I've marked. So this sign here is the 100-day moving average. So that was pretty much it. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is Nomad Hedge, whether you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, Threads, whatever. I'm most active on Twitter. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care for now.